wake up as and when they find an opportunity.
Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar booked for alleged false and politically motivated remark on Kerala IED blasts. BJP cries foul, claims false case against Chandrasekhar. Aam Aadmi Party Mantri Atishi slams ED summons against Delhi's Chief Minister, claims BJP will get Kejriwal arrested soon after questioning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi pays tribute to India's freedom fighters as Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav culminates with the Kalash Yatra in Kartavya Path.
25 वर्षों में हमें अपने इस भारत को समृद्ध बनाना है, हमारे भारत को विकसित बनाना है.
Temporary respite for TDP chief in the skill development scam. Chandrababu Naidu walks out of jail on 4-week interim bail on health grounds. Israel expands Gaza ground assault on day 4 as firing escalates at the border. Israel hostage soldier rescued from Hamas.
Question continues to remain: what happens after 5, 6 days, 7 days, 2 weeks, a month? How long is it going to go on for? Because remember, the hostage crisis continues to fester and simmer. It has intensified, like we first reported here on India Today.
Several opposition leaders have now made some very serious allegations against the central government that it was attempting to hack their personal phones. Several MPs shared screenshots of Apple notifications on social media to back their claims. But the BJP has dismissed the charges, saying the charges are completely baseless. The government has also now ordered a probe into the entire matter. Here's more.
Snoopgate 2.0 hits Indian politics. Rahul Gandhi, Shashi Tharoor, Mahua Moitra, Priyanka Chaturvedi, Akhilesh Yadav, Asaduddin Owaisi and many other opposition leaders on Tuesday alleged that they may have become targets of hacking by government agency. The opposition leaders shared screenshots of mails and text messages from Apple, warning them against state-sponsored attackers trying to remotely compromise their iPhones. Shiv Sena MP Priyanka Chaturvedi wrote letters to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah demanding an investigation.
We would need to understand who's at the bottom of this. Like I said, 2 decades of using Apple, I've never received a message which is so serious. And coming from them, I think we should be alert to what is happening, whether it's state-sponsored from the government or wherever they think it is happening from.
Congress MP Rahul Gandhi claimed that the opposition is being hounded by the Narendra Modi government for speaking out on Adani Group.
जैसे ही हम अदानी जी को टच करते हैं, इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज, स्नूपिंग, सीबीआई, मैं पहले सोचता था नंबर 1 प्राइम मिनिस्टर, नंबर 2 अदानी, नंबर 3 अमित शाह. एक्चुअली ये गलत है. नंबर 1 अदानी, नंबर 2 प्राइम मिनिस्टर, नंबर 3 अमित शाह. अभी हिंदुस्तान की पॉलिटिक्स हमें समझ आ गई है और इसीलिए सारा का सारा हो रहा है. Distraction politics.
The Modi government dismissed allegations of snooping on opposition. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav stated that an investigation is ordered, but pointed out that similar notifications were received by Apple users in 150 countries.
There are many compulsive critics in our country. Their only job is to criticize the government as and when they wake up, as and when they find an opportunity. We have already ordered an investigation and we request each and every person who has received the advisory to please cooperate with the investigation and make sure that we go to the depth of the matter.
It's complete nonsense that the opposition leaders are trying to propagate. It will be very interesting to get to the root of the matter and has asked Apple to join the investigation. और दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो जाएगा.
Apple has issued a statement. The iPhone maker clarified that it does not attribute the threat notification to any specific state-sponsored attacker. The company added that the notification alert could also be a false alarm and they are unable to provide information on what causes such alerts to be sent out, as this might help the attackers evade detection in future. The one question being raised is why only opposition leaders and critics got hacking alerts. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's cut across right now to senior Congress leader Mr. Pawan Khera, who's joining us on the bulletin. Appreciate you speaking with us, Mr. Khera. The question is, Mr. Khera, yes, many of you and many of members of the India Alliance have received this particular notification from Apple. But why do you directly, immediately link it to the government snooping on you?
Last time, the last round of Pegasus at least had some people from the ruling party like Ashwini Vaishnav and others also whose phones were affected by Pegasus. This time around, it's more brazen. It's only opposition. So that's why I think we have reasons to believe that it's only targeting the opposition leaders.
No, but Mr. Khera, that's incorrect, because it's not just the opposition. You have Mr. Piyush Goyal, who on certain sources have gone ahead and claimed that he's received a similar message. So it's even those who are in the government who've received this message.
Ask him to reveal that, ask him to show that message to all of us. We would be happy to see his mobile also. Ask him also to surrender his mobile the way they expected us to surrender our mobiles to any investigation. Ask Mr. Piyush Goyal to surrender his mobile also to investigations. There will be a lot of interesting stuff coming out, I must tell you.
But Mr. Khera, these are serious allegations. Leave alone Mr. Piyush Goyal if, the Alliance, India Alliance or the Congress doesn't want to buy that he received the message. But the fact is also there are many who are not in public life, who are not politicians, who are on either sides of the ideological divide that you might want to suggest. Even they have received this message. So in all, to claim that it's the government involved and carrying out operations of snooping on the opposition, are you getting a little ahead of yourself?
Well, these are repeat offenders we are dealing with. I mean, snooping is something which, even when these people were in Gujarat, were very well known for their snooping abilities and inclinations and tendencies. So, everything is verified in any case. It's for the government now to come clean. Why are you spending taxpayers' money on snooping on your own opposition leaders? I mean, this money could have been used for Agniveers, the benefits which have been denied to Agniveers. You please don't waste money on us. Take away our mobile phones if you think we are doing something against you. Take away our mobiles. But don't waste taxpayers' money on snooping us.
But Mr. Khera, why the grandstanding, and trying to milk it politically, some would suggest? 150 countries, across 150 countries, people have got a very similar message that possibly you have on your phone. Now, does this also mean that the BJP is spying on 150 countries?
I mean, I'm sure there are different governments. It's not just Mr. Modi's government which indulges into such activities. I'm sure other countries also have similar governments. Some elected, some unelected, but they are, these tendencies are there. So why is Mr. Modi arrogating to himself the power to snoop in 150 countries? Is that his intention? I mean, what kind of an argument is this? We are interested in ourselves, our country, our Prime Minister, our government. They need to be answerable to us, to the citizens of India. How am I interested if somebody is snooping a phone of a Maldivian person or a Pakistani national? I'm not interested in that. Indian people's phones are being snooped upon by the state actors. Who are those state actors? I demand to know.
The point being that, the point that I made with 150 countries, Mr. Khera, is that this is a message that has come to not just you, they've come to people across 150 countries, and then to substantiate that this is a state actor which, even as per Apple's explanation is not. It could very well be a malfunction or it could be a fake alarm. So they really can't justify that. But having said that, the BJP and the government says that you're running out of political fodder to attack the government and, on cases which are valid. So you're making these accusations.
What is routine about it? I mean, I don't understand why is it routine that the opposition leaders and some journalists get this message popping up on their in their inbox. Why? How is it routine? Today, they asked me, why don't you change your phone? I'm sorry, I'm not interested in changing my phone. I'm interested in changing this government which does this to me and to others.
All right. Okay, Mr. Kera, appreciate you joining us. Thank you there. We're going to come back for more updates where the story is concerned. A keen eye on all developments. Joining me is now Poulomi Saha, joining me from the national capital with what the government is saying in terms of the allegations made by the India Alliance, and Ayush as well, our technology editor, who's going to tell us exactly what this message really means. Does it really mean that the state is spying on you, or is it something routine which happens, or can happen? Poulomi, what is the explanation given by government sources on why only leaders from the opposition have got this message?
Preeti, this is, of course, a matter of investigation. The government says that they've ordered an inquiry. It was, of course, said in a press conference earlier this afternoon by the Union Minister for Information and Technology, Ashwini Vaishnav, when he, of course, spoke with the media in Bhopal. So an inquiry has been ordered. They say that they will reach out to Apple, of course, to provide them with data as to why exactly were these threat notifications sent out to these specific users. Though, of course, Apple says that they don't want to, reveal, as per what they put out on their website, the cause of why these threat notifications have gone out, because then it would be alerting the said state-sponsored attackers in a way that they could adapt themselves to better protect themselves from any sort of detection in the future. But of course, if a government approaches, the case could be completely different. They, of course, have said that all of these members who have, in fact, raised the red flag should just wait for an inquiry to be conducted. Though, of course, the minister did point out to a notification, an advisory which was sent in by CERTIN in July this year itself, which basically said that there are certain vulnerabilities as far as iPhone users are concerned, and everyone should be aware of the same, because their phones, their devices could be susceptible to some form of attack or another. So they should be taking a lot of precautions, the same kind of precautions that Apple, in fact, puts out on its website for those who have been attacked as a result of state-sponsored attacks, in terms of two-factor authentication, changing your passcode, downloading your apps only from the App Store, etc., etc. Preeti.
All right. Poulomi, one quick question before we let you go. You've had Piyush Goyal who's come out and said that this is a possible malfunction on certain other, platforms. He's also suggested that he's also received the same message. Has anybody from the BJP and the government also received a similar message?
Well, Preeti, Piyush Goyal, of course, was referring to others that he knows of. It's not Piyush Goyal himself. Others that he knows of who are not in public life, who are not public representatives, who, in fact, have received this message. One of them, of course, Mr. Samir Saran, who is of the ORF, has come out himself, and he said that he's received this threat notification last evening as well, around about the same time that everyone got this threat notification. If you look at the screenshots, they're all tweeting of these notifications from between about 11:45 to 11:47, when they all received it simultaneously. This is, of course, a matter of investigation. It will have to be investigated as to how exactly did this happen. Was it an algorithm malfunction? Whether it was, something very specific in nature? Only Apple can answer that at the moment.
All right, appreciate you joining us. Thanks, Poulomi, for giving us on what the government is saying, and especially the BJP, who's called it nothing but a figment of the India Alliance or the opposition's imagination that the government's trying to snoop on them. Ayush, I want to bring you in. Now, what's happened is that in the afternoon, you had a explanation of sorts which was released by Apple, but that's not very different on what is already on their website, where certain messages like this, when they are given out, what it really means.
Absolutely, Preeti. Look, that was a clarification that we got here on India Today and Tech Today as soon as we reached out to them. And honestly, given what was happening in the Apple cycle of things, there was a major event with the launch of their devices earlier this morning, and they did respond shortly after some of these social media posts went public. Now, in terms of what happened, I was listening to your conversation and very pertinent points raised out there. the original messages, which were screenshots shared by some of these persons, said that state-sponsored attackers may be targeting your iPhone. Now, the clarification says Apple does not attribute the threat notifications to any specific state-sponsored attacker. It doesn't really clarify whether a particular state-sponsored attacker was involved. Who is a state-sponsored attacker? Like you were saying, does it mean that it doesn't necessarily allude to it being the government as well? So it is a general statement, quite vague if you ask me, but they have also alluded to points of there being false alarms and some attacks not going detected. This has happened before, it's happened in 2021, but this is a company in the larger tech space that takes privacy and security very seriously. If we go back to 2016, we know what happened in the Apple and FBI case where the San Bernardino shooter's iPhone had to be unlocked. And I think the company resisted those claims right till the end, till a third party was brought in. And if you had more than 10 failed attempts at opening that encryption and that password, the phone all the data would be eliminated. So I feel like, there's a lot more to come in this particular story. And more importantly, after IT Minister Ashwini Vaishna's press conference, the fact that the government has gone out there and said that an inquiry will be initiated and Apple will also be brought into this and a lot more things will come to light in the coming days, Preeti.
All right, well, let's see what really comes to light. Till now, there's going to be a massive political slugfest. Ayush, appreciate you joining us. Well, food for thought. Till now, at least prima facie, it does seem that only opposition leaders have received this particular message, with Apple warning them of possible state or non-state actors trying to hack into their device. But having said that, you've had Mr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who on a different news platform has said somebody like a Piyush Goyal has also got this message. But having said that, we're going to keep a keen eye on all developments. Let's move on to the other big developing political story, and that is massive relief coming in for TDP Chief Chandrababu Naidu. Now, Andhra Pradesh High Court granted interim bail for 4 weeks to Naidu on health grounds. Supporters of former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister gathered to welcome him, and a victory march was also held as he walked out of the Rajamundry jail. Naidu extended his gratitude towards his supporters from all across the world. Remember, former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister was arrested in September for allegedly misappropriating funds from the Skill Development Corporation.
45 సంవత్సరాల నా సుదీర్ఘ రాజకీయ చరిత్రలో నేను ఏ తప్పు చేయలేదు, ఏ తప్పు చేయనేను, ఎవరిని కూడా అలో చేయను. అది ఇంతవరకు నేను చేసినటువంటి నిబద్ధత. అందుకని మరొక్కసారి రాష్ట్రంలో ఉండే, ప్రపంచం మొత్తం ఉండే తెలుగు వారందరికీ నన్ను అభినందిస్తూ నాకు సహకారం అందించినటువంటి భారతీయులందరికీ
Honorable former Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Sri Chandrababu Naidu Garu, today released that Honorable Court has given a verdiction. So he is coming on bail. So it is very happiest day for each and every day leader and workers and all, both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh as well as India, elsewhere country also.
All right, let's cut across to my colleague Apurva, who's joining us for more. Apurva, will you get us up to speed with the very latest?
Well, Preeti, as you can see, Chandrababu Naidu has just now, started his campaign from Rajamundry. In fact, he's also going to go ahead to, Vijayanagaram. He's also going to go to Vijayawada. From here, he had just been, he's walked out from, Rajamundry prison there on conditional bail. That you can see is Chandrababu Naidu there, who has been coming with his convoy. And over here, you can also see how several people have also gathered. Supporters of Chandrababu Naidu have gathered here as the TDP leader, the TDP chief, has in fact walked out. 4 weeks of conditional bail that he has been given he has been given as a conditional bail. And here what you can see is Chandrababu Naidu there, who is coming out. Several people there who have gathered to catch glimpses of Chandrababu Naidu, even as he has now walked out on conditional bail, seeking treatment. It's going to be a long night as Chandrababu Naidu is going to go back to Vijayawada from Rajamundry, from where he has just walked out from the central prison. aartis that are being given by the public there. There's a crane that has mala that had been adorned for Chandrababu Naidu, his special convoy as well, that is tailing him. A lot of action out here today, especially. It's going to be a huge day for the TDP cadres, the TDP fans, showering of flowers as well as aartis that are being done. All of this for their favorite leader, Nara Chandrababu Naidu. Remember, it's been 50 days that Chandrababu Naidu was lodged at the Rajahmundry Central Prison after he had been arrested in relation to the AP skill scam case in which he had been named as the accused. And as you can see, Chandrababu Naidu's convoy has now gone ahead. Several public who had gathered here in parts of the route between, Rajahmundry and Vijayawada, gathering to catch glimpse of their favorite leader, a leader who,
All right, Apurva. Apurva, if you can hear me in all the melee there, all the surround sound, lots of action taking place on the streets of Andhra Pradesh there. Chandrababu Naidu walked out of jail on a quick yatra on health grounds, 4 weeks bail. Apurva, we're going to come back to you. Thank you. Meanwhile, it's a wrap on Mission 2024, but I'm going to be on the road again to cover the 5-state election coming up next, the semi-final to the big gig in 2024. You're going to get all the action right here, 7 p.m. Ground reports, analysis, the big interviews.
It's the semi-final before the big 2024 elections, and the best view is always from the ground. Preeti Choudhry is on the election road again, ready with her election dispatch.
Are you excited to vote for the first time?
To compile her diary from those who matter.
Would you reckon the Bharatiya Janata Party is coming back?
From those who should matter.
कभी ग्राउंड में आके देखते ही नहीं है क्या चल रहा है असल में जिंदगी में किसी के पास खाने के लिए भी नहीं होता एक वक्त की रोटी.
Gauging the pulse of the poll-bound states, about little people and what troubles the common folk, about their modest hopes and what their strident demands are. Watch Election Dispatch only on India Today.
Ready for an immersive journey into the heart of news, politics and insights that matter. Join India Today now on WhatsApp with the #1 election team as we gear up for the upcoming assembly elections. Do scan the QR code.
Join India Today now on WhatsApp. Follow these steps. Open WhatsApp on your phone. Check for a new updates tab. Select Find Channel and type India Today. After finding the channel, tap the Follow button.
ऐसा है तो फिर कह रहा हूं एफआईआर क्यों नहीं करते, एप्पल को प्रोटेस्ट क्यों नहीं करते, एप्पल से बात करें व्हाट इज दिस मैटर. लेकिन जहां तक मैं अपने अनुभव से कह सकता हूं कोई भी टेलीफोन कंपनी ऐसा नहीं कहती है. बात समझ गए आप? अगर ऐसा कुछ होता है तो सबसे पहले वो खुद सर्टिन के पास आती है, जो क्विक रिस्पांस टीम है, वहां वो बताती है कि ये कुछ है इसको देखिए, और उसके बाद होता है. तो यहां तो कमाल है, उन्हीं को मिला और प्रेस में गए, हिम्मत है तो चले जाए एफआईआर कर दें.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Maharashtra on the boil again. Maratha reservation demand holds the state to ransom again. Hunger strikes, suicides, arson, vandalism. Fueled with a heady dose of politics. With renewed demand for Maratha reservation, the 3-decade-long campaign has got a face in the form of Manoj Jarange Patil, a Jalna-based activist with back-to-back hunger strikes. The peaceful protests once again turned violent, with buses being targeted, offices and residences of parliamentarians vandalized. Chaotic scenes in Bir, Maharashtra. Ajit Pawar faction NCP MLA Prakash Solanke's residence set on fire by Maratha reservation protesters. The Maratha reservation fire singes current political dynamic. Hemant Patil, Member of Parliament belonging to the Shiv Sena, led by Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, announced his resignation as MP in support of the community and reservation. Political buzz indicates more resignations to follow. The Chief Minister stepping in, attempting to douse the fire. Chief Minister Eknath Shinde announced the establishment of an advisory board led by retired judges to address the issue, confirming that the government will provide Maratha reservation in 2 phases. But how?
सरकार पूरी तरह से गंभीरता से इसमें काम कर रही है. अभी जो कुछ घटनाएं हो रही है, इसका भी विचार मराठा समाज के लोगों ने करना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये इसके वजह से आंदोलन एक दूसरी दिशा में ये आंदोलन जा रहा है.
The Supreme Court had struck down the Maharashtra government's move to provide reservation to Marathas under specially created socially and economically backward class, as it was above the 50% ceiling set by the court in 1992. Giving reservation which would sustain judicial scrutiny is not an easy task. With the 2024 Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha polls just months away, and the India Alliance championing the OBC cause, it's a tough road ahead. Bureau Report, India Today.
By PolicyBazaar.com, हर फैमिली होगी इंश्योर्ड.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Choudhry. Well, after bail was denied by the top court, Supreme Court, where the former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia was concerned, as the day ended yesterday, massive news broke. And that news was that it seemed the Enforcement Directorate has gone directly for the jugular, summoning Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, on the 2nd of November. Arvind Kejriwal will need to appear before the ED. We still don't know whether the Delhi Chief Minister is going to ask for more time or appear on the 2nd of November. All of this now, while There is talk, which is rife, that what happens if Arvind Kejriwal is also arrested? What happens to the Aam Aadmi Party? Because the Aam Aadmi Party is going to town with that one single narrative that this was all an exercise to net nobody else but target Arvind Kejriwal.
The Aam Aadmi Party is under fire. The Enforcement Directorate has summoned Delhi Chief Minister and AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal for questioning in the alleged Delhi excise policy scam. Kejriwal, who was questioned by the CBI in April this year, has to appear before the ED on Thursday. AAP described the summons as the Narendra Modi government's big plot to finish them.
Such a massive scam cannot take place without the clear approval of Mr. Kejriwal. लॉ में कहते हैं डायरेक्ट एविडेंस एंड वेरी सस्पिशियस सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस, तो ये दोनों उपलब्ध हैं। तो ऐसे में केजरीवाल जी को बुलाया जा रहा है अगर ईडी के द्वारा, तो हाय तबाह क्यों मची हुई है?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की कोशिश है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को गिरफ्तार करके जेल में डाला जाए, आम आदमी पार्टी के तमाम बड़े नेताओं को जेल में डाला जाए और आम आदमी पार्टी को खत्म कर दिया जाए।
Delhi Minister Atishi alleges that the central agency has no evidence against the Chief Minister but will arrest him on November 2nd on directions from the BJP. The BJP is hit back, calling up the biggest letdown in the political history of India.
सच्चाई ये है कि जब से सत्ता में आए हैं, एक के बाद दूसरा इनका नेता भ्रष्टाचार में लिप्त पाया गया और आप पिछले 8-9 वर्षों की कड़ी एक के बाद दूसरी देखिए कि कैसे व्यापक भ्रष्टाचार आम आदमी पार्टी ने दिल्ली से लेकर पंजाब तक किया है।
BJP is using ED and CBI to finish off anyone who opposes Bharatiya Janata Party, to finish off anyone whom Bharatiya Janata Party cannot defeat in elections. You can see how one after the other, senior leaders of Aam Aadmi Party are being targeted. Because they can't defeat us, they want to finish Aam Aadmi Party by putting all our leaders in jail.
Two AAP leaders, Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain, were arrested while in office. Now will Kejriwal meet the same fate? This question is haunting AAP leaders and cadre. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, away from the political narrative, what is the case against the Delhi Chief Minister summoned on the 2nd of November? Mind you, just a few months ago, Arvind Kejriwal had appeared before the other investigating agency, which is the CBI, in the similar case, which is the excise policy case. This time, for the first time, called in by the Enforcement Directorate. The politics of it all, at least where the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, is positioned that this is a witch hunt to target Arvind Kejriwal. But I want to bring in my colleague Munish, who's joining us with more on this. Munish, what is the case where Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, is concerned when he's been summoned this time around?
Well, Preeti, as far as Arvind Kejriwal is concerned, there are three main reasons because of which the officials of Enforcement Directorate have decided to summon him. The first is what is mentioned in the charge sheet also, that Arvind Kejriwal spoke to one of the accused in the case, that is Sameer Mahendru. He is someone who was arrested by the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate and also named accused in the case. And in that phone conversation, allegedly, Arvind Kejriwal mentioned this part that Vijay Nair is my boy and you can trust him. And Sameer Mahendru is a person who was liquor baron at that point of time. He was doing business under the new excise policy. He was someone who was playing a key role in bringing a favorable policy for other liquor businessmen also. That is accusation number one. The second allegation against Arvind Kejriwal is that there was a meeting between an MP from Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Magunta Reddy, with Arvind Kejriwal, where Arvind Kejriwal mentioned allegedly this part that I welcome you to do business in the national capital. And in fact, according to allegations, his son did some business of liquor when the new excise policy was brought in by the Aam Aadmi Party. But the third one is going to be extremely important, Preeti, because remember when Manish Sisodia's bail hearing was taking place in Supreme Court, then Supreme Court made a remark that when the proceeds of crime have allegedly gone to Aam Aadmi Party, then why don't you make Aam Aadmi Party accused in the case? And ED is already working on those lines to make Aam Aadmi Party accused in this case. Because Arvind Kejriwal is national convener of the party, there is a high possibility that Arvind Kejriwal might be called and he might be questioned on those lines, that whether he was aware that such scam is taking place, whether he was aware that the proceeds of crime have allegedly gone for Goa elections, and whether he was aware of the fact that the proceeds of crime generated allegedly by some of the AAP leaders were used for other political means. So this is certainly going to be trouble mounting for Arvind Kejriwal. As far as ED is concerned, they are claiming that at this point of time, they need to question Arvind Kejriwal because they have some material before them. On those material, they want to clarify a few things from Arvind Kejriwal.
You know, whatever the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to build on the sidelines where the narrative is concerned on why Arvind Kejriwal is being summoned or what is the, point behind that, political at that. Away from all of that, Manish, very quickly, can you detail for us and unravel the timeline of questioning of the Delhi Chief Minister? Because in April, he was called in by the CBI. Are these cases connected at all? And why is the summon of the ED a lot more serious than what happened earlier?
Very important question, Preeti. Remember when in the month of April, Arvind Kejriwal was called in by the Central Bureau of Investigation, then he was treated as a witness in the case. And just before appearance of Arvind Kejriwal in the month of February on 26, Manish Sisodia was arrested by the Central Bureau of Investigation. During the statement given by Manish Sisodia to the CBI official, there was certain parts where Arvind Kejriwal's name was mentioned and the CBI wanted clarification on those points. But when it comes to Enforcement Directorate, it becomes far more serious because remember, under Prevention of Money Laundering Act, no one is treated as a witness in the case. Everyone is a suspect. At this point of time, Arvind Kejriwal is under scanner of Enforcement Directorate, and when he will be called in for questioning, when he will be questioned by the ED officials on November 2, if he appears, then he will be treated as a suspect in the case, and that's why it becomes very serious. Now, ED decided to question Arvind Kejriwal only after they arrested Sanjay Singh. And what ED claims, and they have been claiming in their charge sheet also, it is in written where there's part of his conversation with Samir Mahendru is concerned, whether the part of his meeting with Magunta Reddy is concerned, all these parts are mentioned in the charge sheet in black and white. So this becomes far more serious because there will be pointed questions to Arvind Kejriwal, which he will have to answer under Section 50 of Prevention of Money Laundering Act.
And that's possibly one of the main reasons that the Aam Aadmi Party also fears that this could all tantamount to an arrest eventually of the Delhi Chief Minister. The political narrative very strongly being bolstered on those lines that this is all an attempt to net Arvind Kejriwal. Thank you, Munish, for joining us with that update. I want to just now get into the politics of it all. The optics for the Aam Aadmi Party could be terrible, but could they work for the Aam Aadmi Party or will they backfire? I want to bring in Ashutosh, political analyst, who's joining us live, as well as Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist as well. Because if you've seen viewers, it's interesting. Because other than maybe one or two where the India alliance is concerned, haven't really come up and got the back of their own ally where Arvind Kejriwal is concerned. Why is that? Well, where the Congress comes into question, Congress was a petitioner in the liquor scam. So maybe the Congress cannot speak, at least the Delhi unit cannot. But we haven't heard anything from the top alliance partners of Mr. Kejriwal. But I want to cut across to Ashutosh first. Ashutosh, how do you view it? Because this is a war of perception that the Aam Aadmi Party has fought. They've built their bones, cut their teeth, no matter what idiom or analogy we might want to use on the plank of anti-corruption.
Aam Aadmi Party has gone through many crises in the past, but I think this is the biggest crisis which Aam Aadmi Party is facing. And that's why it becomes very important, and it can be very, very terrible for the party itself for the two reasons. One, if Arvind Kejriwal, and there is a very serious possibility that Arvind Kejriwal can be arrested, and if he gets arrested, then who will be the chief minister, because he can't continue as the chief minister, and then obviously some replacement has to be found, and who will run the party, because Aam Aadmi Party is known that everything runs through Arvind Kejriwal. There is no second line, there is no third line, there is the fourth line. The other reason is that they're the two top leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party who command certain amount of respect within the hierarchy of the party and also within on the ground level cadre. One is Manish Sisodia, the number two, and the Sanjay Singh. Now both of them are in jail. So if both of them are in jail and Arvind Kejriwal also ends up in jail, then obviously there will be total disarray in the Aam Aadmi Party. And that is where this crisis is getting much more serious for the party itself. And I do not know how the party will deal. I'm only assuming that if Arvind Kejriwal gets arrested, he might not get arrested. But now, since after the Supreme Court verdict, and the Supreme Court, in fact, verdict has come as a license. Why I'm saying so? Because Manish Sisodiya, a few days back, just because of the observation of the Supreme Court, everybody believed that he is innocent, because Supreme Court has commented that there is no evidence against him, and how long you can keep a person in jail and there is no evidence in that sense. Now Supreme Court has denied bail. Not only Supreme Court has denied bail, but also said there is a possibility of money trail, that 338 crore might have been misused or whatever you call it. Now, after the Supreme Court denial of bail to Manish Sisodiya, Aam Aadmi Party cannot say that there is a witch hunt, because this is not the government has done it. This is not the Enforcement Directorate did it, but the theory, the line of investigation which Enforcement Directorate was continuing, Supreme Court has almost endorsed that. Now, look at the case now. If tomorrow Arvind Kejriwal is arrested, can the Aam Aadmi Party go to the public and say there is a witch hunt? That's the question.
All right, okay. I want to just bring in Rashid Kidwai into this conversation as well. All right, we don't have Rashid Kidwai, but, Ashutosh, I'll pull you in again on this. At least now where you look at the perception and you go from micro to macro, because Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party are a part of a larger alliance, which is the India Alliance. Strangely, this time, one can understand the silence from the Congress, because at least the Delhi unit are petitioners in this case. But why do we see abject silence from some, the likes who've been very close, at least optics-wise, where Arvind Kejriwal is concerned? The TMC is silent. We haven't heard anything from the DMK. Most allies are keeping completely quiet on this.
One can understand this, and one of the reasons is that the Supreme Court's denial of bail to Manish Sisodiya. That gives a moral credence to the entire investigation by the Enforcement Directorate. The point number one. The point number two. Arvind Kejriwal and his party did not observe the basic rule of coalition politics. You remember, Arvind Kejriwal, while campaigning in Chhattisgarh, has blamed Bhupesh Baghel and the entire Congress party that they are indulging into the big scam and big corruption. Now, when a coalition partner indulges into that, he has forgotten that the same thing can bounce back to him. Now, when Supreme Court has denied bail, when ED is calling Arvind Kejriwal, summons Arvind Kejriwal for investigation, then why Congress party should not return in the same coin? I think it's a basic mistake which Aam Aadmi Party has done. If you're part of an alliance, you should be patient and you have to observe certain rules of the game. Now you are contesting elections against Congress party in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. You are abusing and criticizing our Congress party left, right and center. So why the Congress party should come to their rescue? I'm sure the senior congressmen like party president Rahul Gandhi and others, sooner or later, they will make some statement. But I'm not, I don't see that they are in a hurry unless they want to wait till 2nd of November.
All right, we're still waiting for Rashid Kidwai to join us. But, Ashutosh, what do you make of the fact that, this is a party and this is a leader who's fought and built every possible amount of political credibility on the plank of anti-corruption and having a clean image. And that is what they are going now back to the people, where this is a witch hunt for Arvind Kejriwal. Do you think this will work for Arvind Kejriwal or against Arvind Kejriwal?
See, Preeti, I think there's a famous saying that the revolution eats its own child, its own kids. That's what exactly is happening. The Aam Aadmi Party had that moral capital. That moral capital was that these are the people who are not like a professional politician. They are not the careerists in politics, and they are here to change politics. Now, and look what they had said to begin with. They used to say that why the chief ministers and the leaders and the MPs and MLAs and the ministers should be living in big bungalows. Why can't they live in the two-room flats? Now, every promise that they had done, everything that they had said has gone back on that. So if you start behaving like a political party, obviously people will question, and not only their opponents will question, the public will also question. And unfortunately or fortunately, Aam Aadmi Party has gone weak on its moral fiber, and now it is coming back to haunt them.
All right, let's get in a quick comment from Rashid Kidwai, who's back with us. We'll also be joined by Rajdeep Sardesai in a short while. But Rashid Kidwai, what do you make of, especially where the India alliance comes into question, the abject silence? One can understand the Delhi unit of the Congress because they are petitioners. But when it comes down to their own allies, somewhat, because Arvind Kejriwal, known to be very close to Mamata Banerjee, nothing coming in from even the TMC, leave alone the other political parties like the NCP, DMK, or even the Congress.
Yeah, so I think, Preeti, the India alliance is about, the politics, alliance and the narrative about defeating the BJP in 2024. It's not about, consolidating, individual political parties or fighting on their behalf. We have seen a series of, corruption cases. Some of them are very politically motivated against the Congress, Trinamool, and we have seen even Arvind Kejriwal's own track record that when, Rahul Gandhi was being questioned or disqualified, etc., he looked the other way. So this has been a legacy, but that does not mean that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is on a weak wicket. I disagree with my friend Ashutosh. See, the politicians, particularly regional parties, they have to go through this kind of series of charges, and sometimes some people are jailed, but they have come out much stronger. You look at life of Jayalalitha. We are seeing what is happening to Chandrababu Naidu. So there is a political pattern. I don't want to make a comment on this particular case, liquor scam, but generally speaking, the way opposition is targeted in cases of alleged cases of corruption, etc., there is a very rich legacy of individuals and regional satraps bouncing back, and perhaps Mr. Arvind Kejriwal will not be an exception to it, because it's not a watertight cases. Many times cases are motivated. If our drive was against corruption in a serious manner, half of the political class would have been in jail, not because they are corrupt, because we are sitting over a very corrupt political system. You look at the entire way elections are fought. People are paying 10 times, 100 times more than the poll expenses. I mean, every candidate spends at least 10 times and sometimes 100 times more than what they show as actual expenses. So so everybody in that sense is corrupt. Only some people are singled out, and unfortunately, of course, Aam Aadmi Party is caught in that web.
Well, Aam Aadmi Party caught in that web, but Rashid Kidwai, do you also think that Arvind Kejriwal is a man difficult to write off? Because let's look at the political history, and I'll take in a comment from Ashutosh as well on this. If we go back, ever since, Arvind Kejriwal came into the political scene, he's been written off too many times to bounce back even stronger. Rashid Kidwai.
Preeti, you're asking me?
Yes, Rashid Kidwai. Go first.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Because as I told you, see, these cases, unless somebody gets, convicted in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months time, then it's a different story. Otherwise, these mere allegations do not mean anything. And a lot of people, even Sukhram, who was, much maligned in corruption, he had also bounced back and he started winning elections again. You look at, as I keep repeating, Jayalalitha's life, Mulayam Singh, all his life, faced this kind of DA charges, Mayawati, but it didn't stop them from winning.
30 seconds,
Ashutosh. Reddy, he spent so much time in jail.
All right, Ashutosh, 30 seconds. For somebody who's followed his trajectory, he's a man who's difficult to write off. Look at how he came back in Punjab 2015. Every time you write him off, he's back stronger.
I never write off. I have not written off Arvind Kejriwal. I've only said this is the biggest crisis which has come to haunt to Aam Aadmi Party for two reasons. One, I think we always compare Lalu Prasad Yadav and Jayalalitha, but we forget that Lalu Prasad Yadav and Jayalalitha, both of them was a well-structured party with our institutional memory. Aam Aadmi Party doesn't have that. Secondly, that the two topmost leaders who can carry forward the mission and carry forward the party and run the government, they are also in jail. So now, beyond that, I don't see anybody who can lead. A crisis always throws up some kind of leadership. I'm not discounting that, but the crisis is serious and they have to confront.
All right, okay. With that, gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up. Apologies, we couldn't connect to Mr. Rashid Kidwai in time, as well as Rajdeep Sardesai. But with that, it's a wrap. Do stay with us. On the other side is Rahul Kamal.
पूरे ऑपोजिशन के खिलाफ यहां पे एप्पल का नोटिस आता है। मैंने इसको थोड़ा आपके लिए बड़ा करके दिखाया है। देखिए, अच्छी तरह देखिए, ये तोते का काम है, राइट? इसमें लिखा है, एप्पल बिलीव्स you are being targeted by state sponsored attackers who are trying to remotely compromise the iPhone associated with your Apple ID. अब ये मेरे ऑफिस में सब लोगों को मिला है, वेणुगोपाल जी को मिला है, कांग्रेस पार्टी में लिस्ट बनी हुई है, पवन खेड़ा, सुप्रिया, सीताराम येचुरी, अखिलेश यादव, प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी, महुआ मोइत्रा, राघव चड्ढा, टीएस सिंहदेव, लिस्ट है। और ये सारे के सारे किसी ना किसी तरीके से इस मामले में इन्वॉल्व है।
As the relentless Israeli bombing continues. The humanitarian crisis has reached an unprecedented level in the Gaza Strip. Buildings are being reduced to rubble, trapping dozens. This as people continue to struggle for basic essential items like food, clean water and life-saving medicines. Over 9,000 Palestinians have lost their lives and thousands are injured. Gaza citizens say they face a grave threat to their lives, adding that it was the women and the children who are being killed. Israel has asked Gaza citizens to leave their homes and to move to the south of the Gaza Strip. The IDF has said Hamas is using hospitals and schools to store weapons to attack Israel. Israel says it was trying to keep civilian deaths as low as possible amid the ongoing war. But it accuses Hamas of stalling civilian evacuation to use them as human shields. The Gaza Strip has been under the Israeli strike since the 7th October deadly terror attack by Hamas killed nearly 1,400 Israelis. The innocent Gaza citizens are now paying a price of the war which they never started. With Shiva Road near the Gaza border, Bureau Report, India Today. Israel's multi-pronged attacks have brought the tiny piece of land to the brink of collapse. Gazans are living in fear as the war escalates every passing day.
اليومين السابقين هذا التصعيد أخذ منحنى خطير جدا، حيث قام الجيش الإسرائيلي بعدة محاولات للاجتياح البري لقطاع غزة، لكن عناصر المقاومة الفلسطينية تصدوا له خلال هذا الاجتياح. أيضا كان هناك ضربات من الجو والبحر من الزواقع الحربية، كان هناك محاولات للاجتياح البري.
Thousands of displaced people are living in tents. In the latest attacks, an Israeli airstrike hit a house in Khan Yunis, injuring a mother and 4 children. Israeli attacks on the Al-Quds hospital in Gaza have caused massive damage. Over 12,000 displaced civilians were sheltered inside the Al-Quds hospital. 15 out of 35 hospitals are out of service in Gaza Strip. As airstrikes continue, hospitals are running short of fuel. Israeli troops and tanks attacked Gaza's main northern city from both sides 3 days after they began a major ground offensive in the Palestinian enclave. Israel Defense Forces released videos of ground operations and airstrikes on Hamas targets in Gaza. Israel claims that humanitarian aid that is entering Gaza is not going to civilians. They claim that Hamas is taking fuel meant for civilians.
We are making sure that there are enough supplies. The problem is that also when we bring supplies into Gaza, then they are, Hamas takes over, like they did with the fuel from UNRWA, by UNRWA accords, reports, not mine. They go and they steal from the international organizations the food, they loot them. It's a big problem, but we are making sure that food and supply will go in at a level that will prevent a humanitarian crisis. This is very, very important also for us as human beings.
Even though Hamas is facing heavy damage in Gaza and thousands of civilians are hit, the Hamas leadership has shown no indication of releasing the hostages. Bureau Report, India Today.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies.
Co-presented by Century Laminates by Manish Malhotra, fashion for your furniture.
Co-presented by
Macho Hind, बड़े आराम से.
Co-powered by PolicyBazaar.com, हर family होगी insured. Co-powered by the bold look of Kohler.
Good evening and welcome. Did a state-sponsored actor snoop on the telephones of key opposition figures? The government says no. The opposition insists yes. An investigation has been ordered. What exactly do we know at this moment? How is Apple certain that this is a state-sponsored actor? And who could this state-sponsored actor be? The Indian government or some other government? Charges are flying thick and fast. This is the biggest political story tonight, and it's my top focus on the news track.
Apple alerts trigger big quake. Opposition alleges surveillance. Centre slams compulsive critics. Asks opposition netas to file FIR. Snoopgate Dangle 2.0. That is the big focus on News Track.